You are tuned in to your dose of positivity. I am Marlene Motivates, and shout out to all my channel members. And if you would like to gain further support, join membership for Marlene Motivates. I am Marlene Motivates, and as I always say, just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Marlene Motivates. I'm your channel for all things motivational, positive, inspiration, and support. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I would really appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and share this video out. So, how's everybody doing? Happy New Week to everybody who is here. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for supporting Marlene Motivates as always, all the time. I'm very excited to talk about this today. You know, I only speak about things that is like on my spirit, things that I'm feeling. And today I wanted to talk about, learning thyself, learning yourself. And I feel that learning yourself is one of the most important lessons in this life. We have to know ourselves. We have to learn how to love ourselves, how to treat ourselves. So, we're going to talk about those things today. Welcome to everybody who is here. Thank you so much for your support. So, let me put up the banner up here. Yes, we're talking about learning thyself. So, what does that even mean? Learning who we are, learning what we are, learning why we are. It's key to being joyful and to living a fulfilling life. Yeah, it's our choice as adults. Maybe as children, we didn't get the support we wanted or we deserved. Maybe even in other relationships, maybe we don't get the things that we actually want. But when it comes to ourself, when it comes to you, it's our choice to learn ourselves, to love ourselves, and to find out these things so that we can live the life that we deserve. See, I want you to have not only a good life, but I want you to have a life where you have your own friendship, where you know how to encourage yourself, where you know how to stay motivated, where you know that I have myself and I have everything that I need to be happy. Yeah, you do. So, we're going to get into talking about this today. Let's get into the comment section first of all. Hi, Miss Wanda. How are you doing? Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for your support. Hi, Puzzle Pieces. Welcome in. Happy Monday to you. Thank you so much for your support. And the likes are always appreciated. So let's get into talking about this, everybody. The first point I want to talk about is who are you? Who are you as a woman? Who are you as a man? A lot of times we defined ourselves based on what other people told us that we are, what other people may say, either good or bad about us. But I want us to start working on ourselves and redefining within ourselves who do we say we are? So let's start off with this question in the comment section below, and also those who are watching in the replay. Leave me a comment in the comment section below to tell me, who are you? Who do you say you are? What do you believe that you are? This is so important to have this conversation, and I feel that these conversations need to happen more with our friends, with our loved ones, with other people who are important to us. Because if people are not on that level in their life, knowing who they are, knowing what they can do, believing in themselves, it projects onto other people. And that's the reason for the negativity, the drama, and all of those things that we don't need in our life. So, the more that people are happy within themselves, know who they are, know what they deserve, they can be a happier and healthier person. You can have a strong mindset, you can have a willpower. And it will allow you to be resilient and to be courageous enough to, no matter the struggles, no matter my difficulties, no matter what happened to me, no matter who likes me, I know who I am. So that's a personal question that only each and every one of us can answer. I can say who I am, who I have stepped into being today. Today, that I am resilient, I am courageous, I am strong, I am powerful, I am motivated, and I am encouraged. That is just some of the qualities of me. And I just can say that there are times that we don't know who we are because of problems, because we haven't worked on ourselves. And I know that when I gave myself the permission to allow myself to just be who I am, I have become so much happier to be not what other people want me to be or what the media thinks I should be, or based on my skin tone, how my hair should look. I am the one that had to learn to redefine who I am, not based on making other people happy, but who do I say that I am? What am I about? And what do I actually deserve? Yes, this is a strong message in speaking life into ourself. No matter the darkness, no matter the drama, no matter the negativity, no matter who hurt you, it's about rising above all of the pain, rising above all of the things that people said, rising above what other people, how people judge you, how people look at you, what standard that you have to other people, what other people say you should be, and what other people say you should do. No, I'm talking about who do you say you are as a woman or as a man? Are you going to choose the greater portion? Are you going to choose the elevated portion? Or are you going to choose to be down, to be trampled on? We are the ones that have the final say of who we are. And that's why it's important to learn who we are. Learning is vital because people can say or try to treat us a certain way. But when we know our own standards, I know who I am, I know what I deserve, I know what I am capable of. And I say this message to give that hope to you too, no matter what has happened to you, no matter who has hurt you, no matter who has challenged you, no matter who has put you down. Yes, this is the time for us to rise up and to stand up to say, I am somebody. I am remarkable. This positive message, I want it to go worldwide for more people to show that I am a source of love. I love myself. And because I love myself, I can love other people. If more people knew how to love themselves, if more people knew how to have enough courage to say, I've had some painful things, okay, happen to me. I've had people that let me down. I've had people who doubted me. And yes, I have times where I have doubted myself, but I am learning to let all of that go so that I can live in my present and enjoy the person that I am meant to be. All right, let's get into the comment section below. Good, thanks. Awesome, Wanda. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your support. Hi, Miss T. How are you? Welcome. Happy Monday to you. If you guys could hit the like, I'd really appreciate it. Hi, James. How are you doing? Welcome in. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you are well. So, yes, this question. You don't have to put it in the comment section below. As long as you say this to yourself, who are you today? Who are you as a woman? Who are you as a man? Are some of the things that come into your mind? I'm strong. I'm courageous. I'm a conqueror. I'm victorious. And if you have not, I want you to rewrite. You remember you're the author of your own life. Every day we make a choice of what we choose to write down, what we choose to say about ourselves. We're the one that makes those choices. And I say that, as being a woman that was strong enough to say, I am going to be strong enough to not only because I've had difficulties, but because of those difficulties, it made me stronger. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud to be able to stand here, still here, even though a lot of things that may have happened to me, and the same thing for you, a lot of things that may have happened to you could have broke you, could have caused you to just throw in the towel, caused you to want to unalive yourself and do things to harm yourself. It caused you to maybe have low self-esteem, feelings of worthlessness. No, we're not doing that. We're getting into working on us, challenging all of the societal norms, what other people say you are, what people are doing. All of that is irrelevant. I'm talking about you today and being strong women and strong men who allow themselves to be themselves. Yeah, we're spreading that message today that it's okay that I'm myself. I let myself be different. I allow myself to dust all the whatever, the cobwebs, the pain. I allow myself to feel all of those things. I don't have to hide that. That's all a part of my story. It's all about who I am, because I can't say who I am if I don't talk about where I have come from. I've come from a dark place. I don't know where you have come from personally, motivators. I've come from a lot of painful situations, a lot of disappointments, a lot of times where I tried on many instances to not be here anymore. I tried, okay? But one thing that I had to learn that it was nobody's responsibility to love me but me, even if they hurt me, even if they don't like me, even if whatever. I'm the one that has to make a choice every day. I wake up. I have to wake up and make a decision to learn to love myself today with all of my problems, with all of my challenges, with all of my idiosyncrasies. I had to learn to accept all of that about myself and love it. Love all of it. So I say that to all of you motivators as well. Whatever your challenges, whatever you have faced, it's not about your past. It's about who you allow yourself to be in the present. Stand up and be strong, motivators, because you are somebody. That is the message for today, on today. Yes, realist one. Blessings and positivity. Everybody hit that like. Thank you so much for being here, realist one. Really appreciate your support. So, that's an important question that only we can answer. Who are you? What are you about? Okay? Now let's get into this is I feel one of the biggest points of this discussion. Why are you here? Everyone is here for a reason. Every single person has a reason or a purpose. Um, but it's up to us to define that. It's up to us to believe in that. It's up to us to challenge those things and to say, I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a purpose. I have many talents. I have many things that is about me. And I'm going to allow myself to believe in that. I'm going to allow myself to live my best life and be my best self. Yeah, I want that to be a message that is spread. More and more people, if more and more people knew their why, knew why that they existed. Oh, I know why I exist now. I exist because I'm motivated for a purpose. I'm here to spread awareness and to share with other people that even if you have been through some hard, some rough, some darkness, even if you were at a point in your life where you didn't love yourself, or maybe people in your life didn't love you, but you can change all of that. You can change the direction of your life. You can change that. But it's all about choices. I had to learn to choose to love myself. I had to learn to allow myself to have a direction. Okay. Allow yourself to have a direction in your life. Allow yourself to try something new, to be better. Yeah, you can be better than you were yesterday. Uh, I can say that, like when things happen to me, yeah, you beat up yourself and you say, oh, why did I do that? Or other people will say, why did you do that? Or other people, maybe they will deal with you based on who you were. But I'm not talking about who you were. I'm talking about who are you today? How have you matured? How have you grown up? What have you learned? Use that as your fire and your fuel and your energy to elevate. Yes, we all can elevate to a higher place, a higher plane. Okay? Don't think you can't do anything. You are here, and I am so glad that you are here. That's something that many people don't say to one another, but I'm saying it to you. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're still on this side of existing. Um, People take it for granted and think that the people in their life will always be here. And I want to express that to you all. I'm here to say, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that whatever you have been through, that you have made it. I'm grateful for your strength, for your resilience, for your courage, for you allowing yourself to continue on. Keep on going. You have a purpose. And I speak this message because I want you to ask yourself, why am I here and what am I supposed to be doing? Let me get into the comment section. Let me get into the comment section. Let me get into the comment section. Comment section, comment section. Okay. Yes, I am here for a reason. Yes, Trina. How are you doing, Trina? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Live your best life every day. That's my quote. Yes, Trina. We must love ourselves first. We have to. You're the one that has to do it. Yes, I am. Hi, Eastad. Yes, I am live again. Self love is not selfish, it's just the right thing to do. But we're the ones that have to say, you know, loving myself is my choice. Loving myself is my choice. I'm the one that has to choose to love myself. And for a long time, I looked for fulfillment in who I was based on who loved me. And if they didn't love me at that time, or they didn't give me what I personally needed, I felt less than. And you're not less than. Unfortunately, not everybody knows how to love themselves. Not everybody wants to try to. They have given up on that. They don't even want to love themselves, much less love another person. But it's our choice. Okay? It's our choice, everybody. We have to make that choice to love ourselves. We do. We definitely have to make that choice. We do. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for be safe, Eastad. I think it's so vital and important to know that we are each valuable. We are each important. We are each valuable and we are each important individuals. Okay. We really are. We each are important. Okay. Know your worth, everybody. This is from Puzzle Pieces. All you live with is on who you are today, because the past you is just that, the past of you, or the past of your life. Okay. It doesn't define, that's not saying that because you've been through this, that that's all you can have and that's all you can be. Okay. The only one who will always be with you is God. He'll never leave or forsake you. Never, Miss T. Never. He will never leave you. Thank you so much for that point. I'm glad you're doing great. Thank you so much for all of your great and awesome points, everybody. And I got another one for you all. This is one that a lot of people never question this. What is my purpose and my talents? What is your purpose and your talent? My purpose is to be myself, and to by my talent of being myself, I motivate and encourage other people. I let other people know that you can change, you can improve, you can be a better person, you can love yourself, but you got to put in the work to make that happen. Self love is so important. And let me just say this, um, most people, they stay mad or sad their whole lives. They walk around angry, bickering, discouraged, sad their whole life. And let me just say is some people don't even understand that they had a choice, that they have a choice to be happy. You do, motivators. You have a choice to be happy, but you got to make that choice. You have to want that. Instead of being bitter and angry and miserable, you got to make a choice. I'm going to keep my head up. I'm going to elevate my thinking. I'm going to believe in my potential. Okay. And it's all about learning ourself. You got to learn you. You got to learn what you deserve and what you're about. Okay. Don't be mad your whole life. Allow yourself to be happy. And it may be something that we have to grow into. We may have to grow into to being happy and not being the bitter, angry, miserable person that maybe we see in our environment. Maybe the people around us, maybe our relatives are negative, but that doesn't mean that we have to be. Hey, Nate the Great, how are you doing? Welcome. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you are well. So don't be one of those, don't be a statistic of people angry and mad. Be different from the norm. Stand out and be different. Don't be sad, angry, bitter of other people in their life, or mad and bitter because of your past and what happened to you, or what maybe what you did. Um, because this is what most people do. Most people, they stay jealous their whole life. They look at other people, they get jealous of what they have, of who they are, of the way they look, of they're jealous of everything about other people, or they're jealous of people and the things that they have. They want to stay in that state instead of learning to be happy with who you are, of what you have. Every single person has something within them that is amazing and remarkable. And that's why I say learning thyself, learning yourself, learning that I can be happy with myself. I can look at myself and have good self-esteem. I can look at myself and be my own friend. See, you don't need other people. It's wonderful if you have other people in your life that are supportive and encouraging and positive for you. But if you don't, you got to learn that it's okay, because I have myself and you have yourself. But we have to be the ones to make the choice. I don't need to be jealous, envious of another person, of what another person has, of what another person is doing. You can get into doing what you're meant to do, getting into your purpose, learning to love yourself, learning to be put yourself in a position so that you can have the things that you want. See, not everything that other people have is meant to be good for you. There are some people that have things and it's like, but that's not for me. That's what another person has. Learn to, vibrate at a place, be at a space in your life where I want what is meant to be for me. Know what you like, know what you want, and then go and work and get it for yourself. You don't need what another person has. No, you don't need what another person has. You need to have what you're supposed to have, what is meant to be for you. Because you may be saying you want what another person has. And what if you're supposed to be getting and manifesting bigger, greater things? Do you want to settle for that? I don't think so. I don't want what somebody else has. I want what is meant to be for me. And that's what I want for you too. I want you to have what is meant to be for you. You're enjoying your afternoon coffee? Awesome, Nate. Enjoy it. Yeah, that's one of the things that we don't be jealous of another person. Learn to enjoy what you have. Learn to appreciate who you are and learn to appreciate where you are meant to go. Okay? And the thing about learning yourself is that you have to learn that, yes, I have been through some things and it has been hard. It has been tough. It's difficult, maybe based on what you've been through, based on what your life is. You got to learn to let go of pain. And not that the pain will always 100% go away, but not letting that pain put you in a space of anger, resentment, jealousy, being bitter. You got to let your pain give you an impetus for better things. Turn your pain into your power, or turn your pain into your passion for your life. Not using it to keep you down, but using your pain to elevate you. See, this is how a person who knows their worth, knows who they are, that's how you turn everything around. That's what I'm doing with my life. I'm letting the painful situations, the people who have hurt me, the people who have doubted me, the people who challenge me and say, you are nothing, you are nobody, you could never make it, or the people that I loved but didn't love me back. I had to learn to take that, that disappointment and not say it was because of me, but it was maybe something, some people who are in our life, they hurt us because they don't really value us. They don't know how to appreciate us. They don't know how to appreciate their self, but that does not make your value any less. You got to learn your own personal value. See, I'm putting this out there in the atmosphere for all of you motivators to know that. Know your own personal value. You are a valuable woman, or you are a valuable man. Yeah, every single person goes through some painful situations. A lot of us go through, you know, feelings of worthlessness and doubt, difficulties, trials, traumas, but that doesn't mean that that's where you have to stay. We got to vibrate higher. You got to release those things and you got to let it go. You got to let go of the pain so that you can live in your presence. Okay? Let go of that pain so you can live in your present. Let me see what's going on in the comment section. Yes, Trina, just be you. I'm doing awesome, Nate. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Okay, Puzzle Pieces says I struggled for a long time with that because I was always told that I was too kind, too helpful, or too available. But that's what makes me happy. So I have to learn to accept and embrace who I am. Embrace yourself. Know what you are, what you're worth, and what you're supposed to do. Everybody is not the same. Okay? I'm glad you're doing well, Trina. Thank you so much. Nate. Yes. Amen to that. Live in the present. Yeah, we're not living in the past. Maybe you did that. And I know I did that before. I lived in the past until I learned to heal from that, until I learned to release it and let it go. Once I let go of that pain, I use that when it bubbles up to the surface. I let that pain and I use it to get passionate about my goals, my hopes, my dreams, my motivation, how I can encourage somebody from my story. Every day when I wake up and I have the courage to get up, uh, I struggle sometimes. I feel sad. I get discouraged. I feel some type of way about myself and my life, but I don't allow that to keep me down. I say, I'm better than that. Marlene, you're better than that, and you deserve better than that. Okay? And this is what I want to say to all you motivators: be yourself. It's always good enough. Um, there are some of us that may have been told that we weren't good enough, or maybe if you weren't told, maybe by a person's actions, they said it to us. You weren't good enough for me. And because maybe they didn't appreciate you, maybe they didn't know how to say thank you. And you're wonderful. I love you. You matter to me. Some people don't know how to verbally say that, but by their actions, they prove it. And some people will never prove that because they're so busy being selfish. But it's up to us to learn our own self, okay? And even if other people don't say we are good enough, we're the ones that have to first believe it. We are the ones that have to make choices in order to prove it to ourselves. I prove by the way I treat myself. I prove by the words that come out of my mouth. What do I talk about? How do I speak about other people? Do I lift up other people or do I stab them in the back? See, all of that is, we've got to start thinking about ourselves. Where am I vibrating? Okay. Am I up here or am I down here? We don't want to stay down. We want to elevate. We want to rise above. We want to be more positive. Okay. That's something that some of us, we got to learn how to be positive. We got to learn how to encourage another person. We have to learn how to, if you don't have something nice to say about somebody, then don't say nothing at all. Okay. That's maturity. That's personal growth. We don't have to be, if somebody is not our cup of tea, stay away from them. Don't go around them. But we don't have to be talking about other people, and that's wasting our energy and wasting our time. But when we know ourselves, when we love ourselves, we know what we can do. We know we are good enough. You are good enough. I want to put that out there in the atmosphere to each and every one of you. Be yourself is always good enough. Even if other people don't see, even if other people don't see that we are good enough, okay? Not everybody is going to see. Not everybody is going to appreciate us. Not everybody is going to understand the vastness, maybe of your knowledge, of your empathy, of your courage. That there are some people that will never know what it takes, what it's like to be in your shoes, and the things that you have personally gone through. But and I celebrate each and every one of you. I celebrate you that you have the courage today to know your own worth. I have the courage today. And it does take courage. I had to say it out of my mouth. Marlene, you have the courage to know your own worth and you are somebody. And you deserve to be treated like somebody. You got to speak that out loud. And then by your actions, the people who you select to be in your life, the people that you have around you, the people that you listen to, that's how you prove your own worth. You prove that you are good enough by how you treat yourself. See, you got to respect yourself. That's not nobody else's job. It's nobody else's job to love you. It's nobody else's job to understand you. It's nobody else's work to put in the hard work. You got to do that. To all you motivators, you got to put in the work to say every day I wake up, I'm going to prove that I'm good enough, and I'm going to do it because I'm going to get up. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to do what I need to do because I love myself. That's the key, everybody, to learning yourself. It's not based on other people and what they're doing. You got to know what you need. You got to know what you need at the moment, at that time, what your backstory is, and you got to keep encouraging yourself. You are good enough. Yes, you are. You are good enough. Let me see what's going on in the chat here. Okay, 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 okay. That's the way you have to do it, Marlene. Balance is the key. Yes, Nate. It's about balance. Hi, Miss V. How are you doing? Welcome. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you and everybody who is in the chat. I hope you are well. And if everybody could hit the like, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much, everybody. Yes, Trina, I am good enough. You are good enough. You, and you. If more people believed in themselves and figured, I am good enough, okay, then they would allow other people to be their level of good enough. What one person's level of good enough is not going to be the same as another person's. And I had to learn that that's okay. How they want to treat themselves is up to them. How they want to put themselves out there, how they vibrate, how their energy is, how their light is, what they're doing, how they're consistent. That has nothing to do with me. All I can do is be myself. All I can do is be me. But one thing I know about Marlene is driven. Marlene is driven. Marlene is consistent. Marlene loves herself. And Marlene don't have no time for foolishness. This I know about myself as I sit here as the woman that I am today. See, know thyself, okay? I know I'm driven. I know I'm consistent. And I know I've never met anybody who is as driven as I am. I'm a beast. I'm a beast. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that because I used to be quite on the opposite end of the spectrum, lazy, procrastinate. But once I started to get to know myself, that was because I was listening to other people that were not driven, that weren't doing things. And it discouraged me because I was trying to match other people on their level instead of allowing myself to be me. I let myself be me, and I'm not trying to be like this person or that person or looking what another person is doing. I am only in competition with me, in from yesterday to today, I'm just trying to be a better version of me every day. See, that's how I learn myself. It's not looking at anybody or challenging myself because of other people. It's about me learning myself. And I want you all to learn yourself. Hmm. Learn yourself. Okay. Learn yourself. You don't have to be like nobody else. You don't have to live up to other people's standards. It's about living up to your standard. What do you want to do? What do you want to be? And then do that. I always say go silent on people. That's the best way to make the biggest moves in life. Stop talking about what you're going to do and then just do it. People will see, like, oh, that's what they're doing. Yeah, that's what we're doing. And before you know it, you'll be exactly where you want to be. So you got to learn you. Okay? Learn you. All right? Learn you. Hey, Word, how are you doing? Welcome. Got a member and a mod in the house. Really appreciate you being here. Yeah, everybody, be yourself. It's always good enough. You are good enough. Even if other people don't believe it about themselves, even if other people challenge their self, you don't challenge yourself. You keep believing in yourself. You keep setting the bar high. You keep having high standards. You keep believing in your light. You keep doing what you need to do. That's what's important. Hi, Colton. How are you doing? Welcome. Happy Monday to you. Really appreciate your support. If you guys could hit the like, I'd really appreciate it. It's up to us. That's not nobody else's job. It's not nobody else's responsibility. Your light, your joy, your energy, your positivity, your consistency is all up to you. Okay? You could blame people all day long, but at the end of the day, you're the one that has to choose to not only get up, but to stay up. That's what I'm about. Stay up all day, everybody. Stay up. Okay? Be yourself is always good enough. Now let's get to, I think I'm at the bottom of the list. Okay? I think I put in all my points. So let me hit this invite link for my wonderful co-host, Miss Nexie. It's that time. It's that time, Miss Nexie. Um, yes, accountability, Nate, and responsibility. We're the ones that have to do that. We're the ones that have to be accountable and responsible for us. You have to be responsible for yourself. You have to know yourself and what you can do. And I had to learn that. I don't have to do my life how another person is doing life. I don't have to do how I look, how I dress, what I have, my financial situation. It doesn't have to be like other people. It has to be like what is good for me, what makes me comfortable, what makes me happy, what makes me joyful. That's my job. It's my job. And once I learned how to be responsible for me, once I knew about my own personal light, my joy began to rise. It's like the phoenix. I rose above the ashes. Let's welcome Miss Nexie.
Hello, Marlene. Hello,
Hi.
chat. Happy
Happy
Monday to everybody.
Monday. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here, Miss Nexie. So, Miss Nexie, what are your thoughts about learning yourself?
You know, like I said in the chat, um, I was told as I grew up, not by my dad. My dad was always a very kind man. He will, he always taught us that, um, if we had enough for a day's worth of food, and we had an extra couple of, dollars that we didn't need for food or anything else, we could give them away. And he always lived like that, always helping people. trying to always, make others' houses as happy as ours with the little that we had. So I grew up in that environment. I grew up just, and I've said this before. I'm very, very, very lucky that I have maybe more than I need in my life right now. And if I will go back to having just the daily bread, as my dad would call it, I'll be
Mhm.
happy. I wouldn't mind because I come from nothing. I can always go back there, but I would always have my kindness, my ability to help and give others. So I I was told as I got older and I moved away from my house that I was always too kind. You're too
Mhm.
kind. You're too accessible. You're always, you're too giving. And oftentimes I'll be called naive because, I was always giving without expecting anything in return, which is the way you should give. You
Yep.
give to people, don't expect them to be kind back to you, don't expect them to honor you, don't expect them to follow you everywhere you go from then on. That's not the point. The point of
Mhm.
giving is something that it makes, if it's who you are, that on itself makes you happy. You don't expect anything back in return. If you get it back, then hey, that's
Mhm.
wonderful. But if not, if you're going to give with expectations, then it's not a giving. You're expecting something in return. So I had to embrace that that's who I was, and I had to stand my ground saying, no, 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 you're not going to change who I've been, who I am, who I'm always going to be. And I had to embrace and be happy with that.
Mhm. Nexie, you and I are similar in that because I've always been a person to give more than what I got, but I had to learn that. But that's me. That's what I do. I'm definitely a very compassionate person, and I don't do things to get back. I just do things just because, whether I have the whatever it is that I can give at the moment, whether it's emotional,
Mm-hmm,
mental, spiritual, financial, I give that because I give, and I know that because I give, I receive. I know that 100%.
mm-hmm. And it's not, it doesn't always have to be money. That's what a lot of
Mhm.
people confuse when you say, I give my time, I give this, I give that. It's not always, it's not money sometimes, and most of the time that you give. Sometimes it's just someone that you meet on a bus stop or on a store that you just saying hi, and sometimes they offload everything they have inside. Just listening to that person at that moment, it's giving something.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, a lot of us, i I don't know, I think that right now, the world is moving into a very
Uh-oh. Your mic went out.
Marley. I'm gonna step on some toes. So move your selfish world.
Yeah.
We're moving in that direction. And so did you move your feet? Because I was gonna step on some toes.
Yeah.
We're moving into a direction of we're very selfish, very self-centered. And the problem with that is that eventually if we continue that way, kindness, you know, goodwill to others is gonna die. So I've heard a lot of people say, me first, me second, me third. That on itself is very selfish. I feel, not that this is my opinion, not Marlene's, because there's 24 hours in a day. You can concentrate on yourself, first thing in the morning, have fun, do your thing, and then see what you can do for others for an hour or two a day.
Mhm.
See what the needs are of others. Um, so you have to make sure that, of course, you first, right? You have to make sure that you're healthy, that you're in the right state of mind. You have to begin with a morning prayer, which is what I do every day. You have to begin with a morning praise as well for yourself so that you can start the day right,
Mhm.
and then pour whatever else you got on everybody else.
Yes. I agree. I'm gonna pause for a moment to recognize. Hey, Boss Life Online. How are you doing?
Hi, Gio.
Yes, welcome in. And I agree with that. Nexie, it's so important for you to know, where you are in your life, what you want, and what you deserve. And let me just say this, Nexie. For a long time, I never thought that I deserved to be happy because the people around me were not happy. And I felt like I always had to, I don't know, I can't explain it to you, but I felt my whole life I was always trying to make everybody else happy. But in the process, I was making myself unhappy.
You wanted it, approval, acceptance. I,
Mhm.
as a matter of fact, when I was younger, I remember I went to school and I came home and I was so sad. I probably was like 8 years old. Came back home really sad. My dad is asking what's wrong, and I didn't want to tell him, and I was so sad. And then eventually at dinner time, he asked me again what was wrong, and I said, there's a few kids that don't like me,
Mm.
and I was like, I feel like I tried everything I could. This is a new school, right? So I tried everything I could, and they just don't like me. And so my dad, my 8 year old self, he was asking me, why did I have the need for them to like me? And then I said, because, we're friends and we're in school and, I want them to like me. And he explained to me that not everybody is going to like you. And that's a fact. But as long as you like them, eventually they will learn to, accept you. So don't be mean to them. Don't be like them. Just ignore that they don't like you. And eventually, once they get to know you, they will like you. And if they don't, that's okay. You're going to make more friends out there that are going to like you for who you are. But I
Yeah.
was so sad, Marlene, because I wanted them to like me. I
Yeah.
just wanted them. I don't know why. Now I can care less, right? Because you grow up and you realize that,
Mhm.
it's my 8 year old self. But I remember the pain that I felt because they didn't like me. And a lot of times I feel that we go the extra mile with people that don't accept us 100% and don't like us 100% because we want them to, right? We're trying to get that acceptance. But once we learn and we work on ourselves, we learn that their acceptance and their like is not going to stop our life. It's not going to make it better. It's not going to make it worse. It's not going to do anything. It's a you problem. It's a them problem.
Yeah.
We accept that we cannot be liked or loved or accepted by everybody. That's the whole point.
Yep. That's so true, Nexie. I think that, it's not just, your 8-year-old self. Some people never get past that. They spend their whole lives being wrapped up in being accepted by everybody, and they will do everything to gain other people's acceptance. And it's very toxic because they really will never accept them, or they will only accept them as much as they can use them.
Yeah, and I feel that sometimes we are so we're so wrapped up in people accepting us, and praising us, and I feel that on itself it's a problem because we should be happy with us, with ourselves, right? And this is something that I'm going to switch a little because we're talking about acceptance, right? We're talking
Mhm.
about loving ourselves and being happy with who we are. I have grown children now. They're older. And of course, they move away, they get married, they do their thing, right? And you find yourself trying to catch up with them, trying to move around your times to either talk to them or be available every time they call you and things like that. I had to learn that I didn't have to stay and wait until they call me and be available every time they call me, whenever they were ready to call, right? Or whenever I had to learn to say, you know what, let me live my life, right? They're still my children. If they ever need me, they know they can count on me, right?
Mhm.
But I have to not get so caught up on Why aren't they calling? It's been 2 to 3 days. Why haven't they texted? I had to
Exactly.
learn to let go. And my father is the one who told me that. And he brought it back to me. And I was like, oh, how dare you? He said, you don't call me every day. Do you call me every day? And I said, no, I don't. But he's like, but I'm like, okay. He said,
Yeah.
you have to live your life, honey. I had to do that. I had to learn to do that. Live your life the way that you have always lived it. They're grown ups already. Now they're not those little kids that needed you. They're self sufficient,
Yeah.
right? They're going to call you when they feel the need to talk to their mom. It's the way I feel about you guys. You call me whenever you feel the need to talk to dad, and I'm dad at that point. But every other day that you don't call me, I'm me. And I had to learn to accept that. It didn't make sense, Marlene, because I was like, how dare she not call me? It's been a day. What?
Yeah.
I'm greedy like that. I'm sorry, but I am.
Mhm.
And so, you have to accept that. And I was thinking, she doesn't like me anymore, or he doesn't like me anymore, or she doesn't need me anymore. She doesn't want me anymore. And those are the things that sometimes, and I'm comparing this to the friendships and our extended families, right, Marlene, that we always
Mhm.
think that, why aren't they calling me? Why aren't they liking me? Why aren't they, inviting me? And the thing is that you need to be okay with you.
Yes.
If they don't invite you, they don't like you, they don't want you, they don't look for you, who cares?
Mhm.
There are other people that are calling you constantly. There are other people that are inviting you constantly. And there are other people that need you constantly. So be happy with that.
Yeah. You know what I learned from that, Nexi, is that we spend so much of our energy worried about who is not supporting us that we take our eyes off the people who actually are.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people we need to be putting that energy into them. And yeah. So let me acknowledge Leticia. Thank you so much for this super chat and welcome. Let me put up, you know what we got to play. You know what we
Yes.
got to play.
Yes, we do.
I haven't played my little buddy here in a little while, but let's play, when the super chat hits. Thank you so much, Leticia. Oh, I can't find him. Where is he? Oh, there he
Uh-oh.
is. He was hidden. Okay, here he is. Thank you, Leticia. I really appreciate it. Yeah, like you were saying, and I gotta highlight this comment from Realist One. I'm late, but about the whole people not liking us thing, I actually embrace it. Yes, I
He will say that. He will say.
I have actually heard that, and I feel that more people are on board with it. People who don't like you, it's for me, I actually look at it like it's a blessing in disguise
Yeah.
because it keeps you away from the drama, the foolishness. Okay, you don't like me. Now you can stay away from me. Now you won't get close to me to get to where you can hurt me. Yeah, good. Stay over there with your drama. So I agree with that part, realist.
It's true. And that's what helped me, be more conscious of the people that were around me, liking me, wanting to be in my life. But the thing is, what I had forgotten is that I had to love me first. I
Hmm.
had to accept me first. I had to embrace and enjoy my company first. That's the one thing that I had let go as I was being, a mom and stuff like that. And you can't do that. I had to find it all over again,
Yes,
as I
you do.
became an empty nester. But every day I start with the same thing. You have to start with, I do with the prayer. And then you start with
Your
You
mic
know,
went
you
out.
cannot just begin the morning without saying something nice to yourself.
Yep. Learning to support you, it's one of those things that, like, I look at it like a way of preparing my mind for my day. And every time when I just get up and I rush out and I don't prepare my mind, I'm like, why am I having such a hard time coping with my day? I didn't prepare myself for what was to come. I think your mic went out, Miss Nixie. Well, wait a second.
Yeah. You're there, Marlene? I
Yep.
think I lost you for a minute.
Yeah, I did. I don't know
Oh,
if it
this
was I lost you or
connections.
you lost me. Whatever one, we're back.
We're back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know what you said. I was just saying that we have to anytime I don't prepare my mind for my day, through my meditation, through my prayer, through a lot of things, through my positive support, it affects my mindset and my focus for that day.
Yeah, exactly. Again, for me, it's a, I call it, my morning praise or my day praise, because, sometimes we work odd jobs and we don't wake up early in the morning, but we wake up midday, right? So it's just, you have to always make sure that, you're zen, that you're checked in, that you're balanced, that, you're ready for the day, regardless of what you're doing that day. You have to make sure that you are balanced, that you're ready for whatever comes your way.
Yeah, you have to be in that space, and that's something that when we talk about learning yourself, I think that's so important to say that we can't expect other people to give us that. We have to give that to ourselves, and that's recognizing ourselves, recognizing our talents, recognizing our worth, and not letting other people, you know take us down to their level. And that's what people will do if you let them.
Yeah, they don't allow anybody to dictate um your day or who you are or your week or whatever. It doesn't matter. See, once you start working on yourself, and this is the thing that I tell a lot of people, Marlene, that don't understand the power of when you start healing yourself. So when you start working on yourself, you learn, and you embrace this practice, and is that, the pep talk you give yourself every day to get out of bed, because you know we're gonna encounter a lot more negativity, a lot more danger, a lot more people that are going to bring us down than people that are going to encourage us to do better out there.
Right.
So, for me, like I said before, I had to accept my flaws, I had to accept, the gifts I had, because that's another thing you were saying earlier, who are you, like what can you give, like what is it that makes you you, right? Pretty much, in those, I mean,
Mhm.
not those words, but pretty much the message. And I had to learn, and I had to accept, and let others know this, that I am someone that is constantly trying to help people. I'm always there for others. I'm always trying to make somebody else happy. I'm helping as much as I can, anywhere I can. That's me. That's who I am. It's not something that I'm faking, right? So I had to accept that, and I had to ignore the
Mhm.
negativity around it. And I had to tell them, it's okay. This is who I am. You don't like it. That's your problem.
Mhm.
This is who I
It's true.
am.
That's so true, Miss Nexie, because I had to learn that too, that everybody is not going to be in the same space you are, or not everybody's going to be thinking the way you're thinking. We think sometimes that people, that they do things to intentionally hurt us, to disrupt our peace. Maybe some people do, because not everybody has positive motives. And some people are, let's be honest, pure evil. But for the most part, people don't go around saying, "Oh, I'm going to do this to hurt you." They do that because that's where they're vibrating at that moment. That's where they are in their life. They're not really thinking about you, but how things impact us is up to us.
Exactly. There you go. That's exactly what I'm trying to say is that you know how when you go to work, Marlene, and you're always the first one there. You're always doing everything, right? You
Mhm.
hear nothing, no praise. But the minute you make one mistake, and you've been probably doing this for months and years, but the one mistake is the one that gets called out. Is the
Yeah.
one that they make a big deal out of. And you're like, you get so discouraged because you're like, really? I'm the
Mhm.
first one here. I'm always doing everything. I'm always, just
Yeah.
helping everybody else. But that mistake, you're bringing it up to my attention and making a big deal out of it.
Yeah. I,
I
I,
had to work on that and not allow that to bother me because I think what it was bothering me, Marlene, and again, we have to be true to ourselves, right? And that's the only way we can heal ourselves. That's the only way we can, we can get better because we're a work in progress. I had to learn to understand why it bothered me. And it bothered me because they weren't praising my good work. They
yeah.
were just focusing on the bad. How dare they not, you know, how
Yes.
dare they not, compliment Nexi's good work? Like,
Yeah.
why was I so stuck on that? And I had to, and I had to start shifting, my thinking and saying, hey, that mistake could cost a life. That's
Hmm.
why they're bringing it up. They're not bringing it up because they're not realizing you're good. That's on you. You're the one wanting all that praise.
Yeah.
And I don't even know why, but it doesn't matter. And so, we have to focus on that is why are we feeling this way? And this is why I'm bringing this up is because why is that bothering us? Or why do we
Yeah.
need that? What is it in us that needs that reassurance? And that's the only way we're going to be able to work on ourselves, and get
Exactly.
that out of our system.
Yeah, we can't expect accolades from other people. We have to give that to ourselves, and that's why it says, this topic is so important. Speaking on learning thyself, learning yourself. So we can't expect for other people to give what we want. We have to give that to ourselves. That's part of being an adult, and not just an adult, a mature adult. Because a mature adult has to know, okay, there's some people you will never get the accolades, you will never get the
Mm-hmm.
respect, you will never get the thanks, the appreciation. You're never going to get those things from them. But as long as you give it to yourself and you're respecting yourself and doing what you need to do for yourself, that's the most important thing.
Exactly. Exactly. We have to for again, for me is it's always thinking of why I'm so sorry about that noise, Marlene. I have a seal today. Um, sorry about that. For you cannot change anybody else, which is why we're focusing on us. The only person that can change how you think life or more. Nobody else does. So if something is bothering you or something affects you in any way, whether it's too much happiness from that action or it bothers you because it's not enough, then you have to learn to find out why that action or whatever it is that is bothering you or making you too happy. Why is it that this is doing this
Mhm.
to me? We have to be balanced because too much of something is also a problem, right, Marlene? Sorry,
Yes.
I'm not right if I'm saying this. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm saying this right. I'm sorry. Is that you have to make sure that you cannot be too much of anything or too sad or too happy or too this. You have to make sure you're balanced. And if you're doing too much of an extreme, you have to find out why.
You,
Like
I don't know. You have
go
you have
ahead.
to know yourself.
Exactly. And that's why, this topic is so important because sometimes people keep on telling us certain things, not direct, which sometimes it bothers me because I wish they were more direct so that we can work on that, right? Instead of
It's
guessing what it is.
it's the innuendos.
Yes, I hate that.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand them too. I understand that not everybody is able to say things to people like that, and I get it. I'm not criticizing it. I'm just saying I don't like it, but I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is important because for you to be better, a better person, a better friend, a better mom, a better sister, a better auntie. These things have to be. In, you have to know yourself. You have to be in the right state of mind so that you can be the best of everything that I just said before for everybody else. You have to know yourself. If someone bothers you, remove yourself from that place and then find out why it bothers you.
Yep.
And if you want to fix it, try to fix it with that person. Don't involve anybody else.
Yep.
Just,
I, Nexie, I think one of the best things to show like how I've grown, and I'm so proud of myself in that, because before, when somebody else didn't get along with somebody, I would break up friendships. I would break up, certain opportunities just because of a person who was in the room, or that person would be around, because it would make me feel some type of way. I had to come to terms with that. Why do I feel that type of way?
mm-hmm,
They because what reason? Why do I feel uncomfortable around this person? I had to fix that inside of myself. And I
mm-hmm,
had to tell myself, don't talk yourself out of opportunities and business and friendships because of one or two people.
mm-hmm.
You keep showing up and do what you need to do. And some people, you just got to ignore them. There's always going to be negative people, or people that we always won't like, right?
Yeah, exactly. And exactly, Marlene. I'm sorry to interrupt you if you were going to continue to go
No,
on with
I
that.
was
But
done.
what I wanted to say is that a lot of people um, miss out on things because they're sweating somebody else's battle. They get
Mhm.
into it with you because that person doesn't like you, and you're like, okay, what does that have to do with me? They throw rocks at you. They think that you're not that smart, so they say things in between their teeth, right?
Mhm.
And for me is the first thing I tell them when they ask me, like, why are you friends with so and so? So and so doesn't like it. I said, well, that person hasn't done anything to me.
Mhm.
If he or she does something to me personally, then I'll cut the friendship or the partnership or whatever it is that we have. But as long
Mhm.
as that hasn't happened, it's not my business what happened between them. I'm still your friend or that person's friend. I'm not betraying anyone because I'm friends with so and so. This is my life. I live it the way I want it. So if you have a problem with me talking to that, then you do whatever you have to do.
Mhm.
But I'm confident enough to say that, because I'm not betraying anyone. This person hasn't done anything to me. Why are you attacking? Why will I attack this person? Why will I cut a friendship?
Right.
That's dumb. That's
Yeah.
childish. That's middle school.
Nexie, I feel that that has a lot of people think that that's loyalty. If you're friends with me, then you won't talk to this person, but everybody has to, see things for themselves. And I'll just say it, I'm going to be honest. If somebody's my friend and I'm not getting along with somebody, I'm going to say the reason why I don't deal with them, but I'm not telling you to do the same. Everybody has to make a choice on who they want to be friends with. And I want to acknowledge, welcome in, Jinx Journey.
Hi, Jinx. Welcome in. And it's true, Marlene. It's again is even though we are secure in who we are now, so it's not always been like this, not always been the case, but we worked on ourselves enough to get to where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah,
doesn't mean we haven't made the mistakes that we're talking about. Because we have made them, is why we're trying to bring awareness to, know thyself. You have to know yourself. You cannot be sweating, like I said, somebody else's fights. You
yeah,
can't. Because if you will continue to do that, then you got to go back to middle school. When if somebody wasn't my friend, then nobody
Oh,
else could
not
be their
not
friend.
even middle school, Nexie. I feel like that's preschool.
Elementary school. I remember that. So you we can't do that. We're grown-ups, and we talk about these topics. We bring them up to light because we have seen so many people doing that on real life and here and I'm gonna say it, Marlene, I'm sorry, I'm probably gonna step on some toes, but I've seen it so much here on YouTube. People are always, dissing you or ignoring you or oh, if you're there, I'm leaving. I just saw
Mhm.
it yesterday somewhere, when I was watching one of my friends' lives. I'm leaving because so and so is here. It's like,
Right.
why?
Yeah. And you know what I always say? I always say that's okay.
I said, bye.
Let me acknowledge, welcome up
Miss
Miss
Gio.
Gio.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hi,
Hello
Gio.
everyone in the chat.
Hey.
I'm Gio, the Boss Life Online. I just came up to say that you girls took me back to where when I first started with my therapist, and I thought I knew something. Child, I didn't know who I was. I didn't have a clue. Now, ask me if I was happy. No, because I didn't even know what that was. I don't know if people will understand that because at the age of 17, I lost my mom. And all I knew was sadness after that. And I didn't find no happiness until I had to go back and get to know who Geo was and get to know and learn to love myself, okay, is when I started to say, child, I'm not accepting this and that and that. This is what I want in my life. And if this is it, and if people can't treat me a certain way, like I want to be treated, because I'm going to treat you that way, then they don't belong up in my life. See, I had to get to know who I was in order to make that decision for me. Okay, that's why I say to myself all the time, child, I got levels of friends, and you lucky if you on that first level.
Yes.
Point a dot dot. Okay, the rest of the people are associates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because my friends are the ones that know me. My
Mm-hmm.
friends are the ones that know what happened in my life. Those are the people that I trust. I had to learn how to trust not just people, but trust my decisions.
Hmm.
I had to trust me.
Yes.
I had to find some kind of way to love myself and to know who I was and whose I was. It wasn't until I accepted God back in my life that I know today that I am a precious child of God.
God.
And
Hmm.
I'm not letting nobody come up in my life and mess that up because I
Hmm.
worked too hard to get that back. So if I don't know today, I know who I am. I know what I will accept and what I won't accept. And just like Marlene say, she might be friends, or next he might be friends with people I could give a two hoots about.
Right.
Okay, because they done something to me that does not set right with me. They either if you make me cry, I probably won't have you in my life anymore. Okay, I'm just being honest. Okay, but that don't mean that you guys can't deal with them. I'm just,
Mhm. Right.
and that don't mean that I'm gonna go around talking about, which I've done as a kid and as a sister. Oh, my sister don't like you, so I don't like you either. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've done it too because I didn't know better and I
Mhm.
didn't know who I was. But I don't care today if Nexie, Marlene, or anyone in the chat is friends with somebody that I have an issue with.
Yep.
It,
As it
it
should be,
yeah, I
right?
can't expect for people to. I'm gonna be with Geo because Geo don't like this person. That's crazy. I like
Yeah.
Marlene. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not missing no money.
That part.
That's
That part.
exactly what I say
Some
when people.
crazy stuff, and because Marlene don't like this person, I'm gonna miss that opportunity. Well, you got
Nope. Uh-uh. Don't
See,
mess with
see,
my
but
money.
see,
Don't mess with
see,
my money.
Gio, but that shows that somebody is not your friend because listen, if you're my friend, I'm not going to stop you from no money.
That's what I'm saying. If
Hmm.
you try to do that with Geo, you definitely on row 9 of the associate list. That means zero contact.
And you know, Gio, I had to learn to be. I was too trusting
Yes.
with everybody, and I
Mhm.
had to. My therapist say, "And why do you trust them right away?" I'm like, "Why not?" He said, "No, why? No, no, no. I'm asking the questions. Why do you? What have they proved loyalty to you? Have they, why do you trust people so readily, so easy?" And he put me to think like, wait, what do you? I'm not. Wait. I'm not supposed to do that. Isn't that how you start friendship? I mean, isn't that? And I had all these questions. He goes, "Oh, I guess you got homework for tonight,"
Yep.
because I was too trusting, and it created problems in relationships I had. You know what I mean? At home, because I was too trusting. And I had to learn that you can't do that with everybody. Of course, I had to be burned a couple of hundred times, right, before I got
Right.
the point that I cannot be too trusting. But
Mhm.
even from the people I got burned by, and they had friends, we had friends in common, or we're family, and we had a lot of you know cousins and stuff in common that would go back and forth. Even then, I didn't get upset if they were trusting them. I would not say, "Don't trust them. Don't do that." No, you will learn
Mhm.
your own lesson,
So you
and
go
that's something
learn.
that, yeah, it's something that I had to learn, not to be too trusting. But again, as you work on thyself, right, and get to know
Mhm.
thyself, because people cannot tell you how to be. And if people are telling you still to this day on our age that had to do what to do, how to be, then you got to go back to your therapist
Yep.
Yeah.
And,
or
and
to elementary school.
and also a thing that you have to be careful of people who try to tell you how you should feel. That's something that
Mm-mm.
burns me up.
Yep.
Like when I feel something about it. Uh, well, I don't feel that way, and this person don't feel that way. And how come you feel that way? I said because this is how I feel. I'm gonna let myself feel this way. You go about your way.
Yeah. Yeah, this is something else what y'all think about. Like, I don't be friends like that with my sister's friends. You
Mm-mm.
know, my sister has a lot of friends, and most of them I do like, but I don't hang out with them. I don't call them. I don't try to be like deep with them because when she falls out with them, you see,
Yep.
you know, I'm gonna
Mhm.
be very. I would feel some type of way because that's my sister. You know what I'm saying? And you don't be doing nothing to my sister. This is another reason when I got therapy, I really, really looked at that. I'm like, well, I don't need to be friends like that with you. You know, like I'm friends with you, Marlene, and friends with my sister. I can't do that with my sister's friends because she falls out with them too much.
Yep. Yep. And you have to, and that shows that you know yourself and you know your boundaries and you know your limits. I had to learn that too, coming from a big family and having so many siblings, that the way that they choose to operate and live their life does not mean that has to be the way that I have to choose to live my life.
Yeah, so whenever I'm around her friends and stuff, I'm so cordial and I'm really friendly with them and this and that. But after that, after the party over with, Gio going home and there's no phone calls, there's no hanging out, there's no nothing because tomorrow she might fall out with one of them. And then here they
Mhm.
gonna come calling me. No, baby, I don't. That's my sister. Okay, and that's just how I feel about it. I don't care if she wrong or right. It's still my sister. And when something is wrong with Gio, like I was sick them other day, her friends didn't come over here to bring me no medicine.
Yeah, I don't like people like that either.
My sister did. So I always be with my sister. I'm just sorry about it. I
Yeah.
don't care if it is wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't try to be their friend like that either.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That's it.
What I would say is in my elevation and my maturity, I have also learned that I don't need their approval.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that took me a long time to sit in that and actually receive that I don't need other people's approval for me to live my life.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Exactly. And you know it. And the thing for me, it's I don't like when people try to, and I'm not talking about
Your mic went out, Nexie.
feel like a cold person. Like I always, because I get cold very easily. I don't like when people try to tell you what to wear, what not to bring, what to bring. You know, why are you doing this? Why are you always in a sweater? Why do you always bring this? Because I'm thinking, okay, how do you know me? How do you know my, how I feel in the inside, my
Mhm.
temperatures and stuff like that? Why does that bother you? Oh, you shouldn't bring that. You know, where we're going is going to be hot. It's not going to be cold. It doesn't matter. I like it. It's my security blanket or whatever. You're not carrying it. You know, I don't like people like that. And I've come across a lot of, my sister has a couple of friends that, like I said, I'm always carrying that, whether it's in my purse or little flats, in my purse and stuff like that. And they're always criticizing the things that I bring. And I'm like, what do you care?
Yeah.
What do you care? They're always criticizing something I do, something I bring, or whatever. I don't know if it's just to, you know,
It's
get me and my sisters
controlling.
to split.
No,
You know
it's
what I mean?
they want to control you, Nexie. They're a control
Yeah.
person.
It's so weird. And I'm looking at my sister like, you're friends with this? Are you kidding me? These are your friends. My sister just smiles because she knows what I'm thinking already. But they're people like that either they try to push you away from your siblings, or they try to like kind of come in between so they can be the most important person in your sibling's life.
Yep, they want to. They're trying to make a separation, and
Mm-hmm.
I just want to acknowledge this comment from Realist One here. He said, "You hit it on the head with that lean. Folk try to downplay and second guess us only because they don't feel the same exact way. That's what it
Mm-hmm.
is. They want. It's a control thing. It's a control
A
mechanism.
100% realist, 100.
Yep, 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 yep.
They're
So,
always trying to control, but you have to make sure, which is why, again, I appreciate, Marlene, that you bring these topics to light, because there's so much chaos out in the world that sometimes we don't have the time to, sit down and get to know us. Again, this is why it's important to bring them up, and it's important for us to always have those talks with ourselves, to keep ourselves in balance so that we can be the best version of ourselves outside of our confined little protective spaces. So we have to make sure that, we bring topics that are important so that we can work on ourselves all the time, because like I said, we're a work in progress. Marlene, Gio, and I are not who we are today because of luck. We're here and are embracing, who we are now, thanks to our therapists. Thanks to a lot of hard work, a lot of tears, a lot of money. That's not
a lot.
the point.
A lot of money.
But
And
we have
tears.
worked, because you can
Rivers.
pay, you can do all of that, but if you don't do the work, if you're not ready to work on yourself, it's not going to work. Of course, it's not going to work. But
Mhm.
what we're showing you here right now is that we are these three wonderful women that we are here on this panel because we have worked on ourselves. We embrace, our good qualities, our bad qualities that we work on. We try to discourage ourselves from practicing those bad qualities of ours. But
Mhm.
that we're here because we have worked on ourselves, and we're showing you that if you work on yourself, I'm sorry, you can become
Better each
Yep.
day.
Yep.
Yeah, cause see, on my platform, I always say I'm
a
not
better
perfect. I
life.
ain't trying to be perfect. Okay.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
All I want is to be the best Geo I can be every
Mhm.
day. And that takes Marlene, that takes Nexie. It takes me getting on the phone, calling Marlene, saying, Marlene, I'm about ready to go to 10, girl. So, and I
I
have to
know.
sit there and listen to Marlene tell me, Gary, it's not worth it. You
Yes.
response is no response. I'll be want to choke her down. But I have to listen because she is the one that's I chose that I don't think I think God put us together, Marlene.
Yes.
That God put in my life to help me. So
Mhm.
now, like when I call, I'll probably pretty much know what Marlene gonna say, but what I need from her is to just vent.
Yeah.
And she be venting right along with me. That's even better. But in the end, guys, we always do the right thing. We always go back to what we learned in therapy about ourselves. We are a work in progress. That don't mean just because I spent 5 years in therapy that I'm healed. No,
Mm-mm.
it's I have to keep on healing, like
Yeah.
Nexie say. I have to keep on trying to lose them old bad behaviors. Because
Yeah.
one of mine is really telling you off what I want to say. Nice. And I have been good about that for
You
years,
have. You have. Mhm.
and today, because God put Marlene in my life, I can stop and say, Marlene, I always say no response is the better response.
Yes.
And so I have practiced that, and now I don't even
Mhm.
care. I'll be like, girl, please go on.
Yeah. And I can say, Gio, and the opposite in my life, I was a person that always let myself be trampled on, let people use me. Having Gio in my life has helped me to say, this you need to speak up. You need to say something like, don't let them talk to you like that. It's given me that. So that's what it's good to have different people, because people have different personalities and they will help you to lean towards what you need to do. That's why your associates are so important to yourself and your well-being. If you don't have good people in your life, it's not going to encourage you to do what you need to do for the best for yourself.
Right.
So,
Mhm. Well, I cannot relate because I'm so perfect. I'm sorry, I got nothing to say to what
Oh
you two
my
are saying.
goodness.
No, no, but it's true that we always need that one person, even if it's just to vent, cry on, and tell that that person tell you, you know what, you're not crazy. That what she said or he said is mean. What she did is mean, and I have Marlene for that. Um, Sometimes I bug her for things that
no, you don't.
they're
No, you
senseless,
don't. Stop
but
that.
they
No, you
hurt
don't.
me. Thank you, Marlene. But you always have to have that one person, that one rock in your life. It can be somebody new, because I don't know how is it that we became this close like so fast.
Yeah.
But God, like Gio says, God puts the right people in your place. And the
Mhm.
funny thing, Gio and Marlene and Chad, is that when God puts the right people in place for you, the
Mhm.
wrong people take a back seat. You start
Yeah.
losing those bad people, and you don't even know how that is happening, because I've walked away from a few people that they even walked away from me. Like I don't know why. They just left my side, and I'm happy, because sometimes their input wasn't the best. It was probably making me more anxious. It was probably making me more like doubt myself, and I don't like feeling that way. So when the right people are in place for you, all the wrong ones just take a back seat, and you become a better version of you. You always have to have someone to rely on to clear your mind, but make sure it's someone that it's a work in progress like you, so that the right advice is giving, right?
Yeah. I love this. I love this discussion. I love everything that this is about because when I first started this channel, I used to be called living your best life for those of you who are new to my channel because I was at a space in my life where I wasn't living my best life. I was living, no, I was existing like my dear friend, God rest her soul, that she told me before she passed. She says, get into living, not just existing, because a lot of times we're just existing. It's a new day or a new month, a new year, and nothing has changed. We got to get into living. Get out there and make the changes that we want. Be the change that you want to happen in your life. And it does. It takes courage. It takes motivation. It takes the right people. It takes support. It takes all of those things. But when we learn ourselves and we know what we deserve, we will give ourselves that own strength. We'll motivate our own self to do what we need to so that we can live the life that we deserve to.
Yeah, I agree, Marlene. Just go for it. Uh, I do what makes me happy today. Okay. I used to do what makes other people happy. But when I got to know who I was, I started doing stuff that makes me happy. Even if my sisters didn't agree or my brothers didn't agree, I didn't care. I did what I needed to do to become the person I am today. And I can truly say that I know myself really well, what I will do and what I'm not going to do. And today I can truly say, Marlene and Nexie, I'm happy. I am truly happy with what I'm doing. I'm not sitting back, not using my gifts. I'm doing that. I pretty much do what I want to do. Okay. But not
Yeah,
at the expense of anybody else.
exactly. And that's the beauty of you know knowing yourself, working on yourself, is that once you're ready to go out into the world, you're helping, not damaging others. And I guess before, even though we weren't purposely doing this, sometimes we could be harmful to others with our words. But now that we all have worked on ourselves, we go out and we try to help people the right way
Yes.
when our help is needed. We watch what we say, right? Watch what we do around, because now that we are in the right state of mind, that we are in tune with everything that we are, we go out there trying to be an example to others, because that's what I try to do all the time. I want to lead by example, and that's what I do. I behave a certain way, I do certain things so that others can see that there is another way to do things, there's another way to say things, there's another way that I can think of certain things. So for us to get to where the place that we are now, coming from so much trauma, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it, so much
Mhm.
trauma, so much pain, so much hurt. It's a beautiful thing to see.
Yes.
It's a
It's
beautiful thing to be.
It's a beautiful thing to experience personal growth. And I have to say that I'm so proud of all of you motivators, the ladies on the panel, plus everybody in the chat, those who are watching, anybody who has enough courage to stand up and to learn certain lessons and go for the things that they want and to not be an angry, bitter, miserable person. That takes courage, that takes strength. And I'm proud of each and every one of you for having the courage to learn yourself and know who you are and what you want. So I'm going to hear the final comments. First, I'm going to hear final comments from Miss Gio.
Just get to know who you are and what you will and what you want itself. Is it an easy journey to get to know who you are? No, but it is the best journey I could have made, because you guys wouldn't even know who I am. I would never be on no YouTube talking like this, you know. But my conclusion is just get to know who you are and what you want, and go for it. Thanks, Marlene.
Oh, I couldn't get it to unmute. Miss, thank you so much, Geo and Miss Nexie.
I'm gonna chime on what Gio just said. Getting to know yourself, getting the therapy you need, if you're willing to do that, is gonna be one of the hardest things you will ever do for yourself. But always remember, whatever it is that you're doing to get to know you or to get to a point where you are very happy with who you are, it's gonna be hard. Okay, it's not going to be just a weekday or a weekend or a month and you'll be okay. No, it's going to be one of the longest, probably, and hardest. But what you need to know is that once you have gone through all of that sorrow, hardship, and whatever it is that you need to do to get to where you know yourself and you can be happy with who you are or who you found on the end of that journey, it's going to be one of the most rewarding things you're going to get in your life. So always remember that everything that you want to change in your life starts with you. If you want to get to know you, starts with you. That's all.
Yes. Great thoughts, ladies. Thank you so much always for sharing your thoughts and your opinions. I really appreciate it. Every single time I come on a live and I never know where I'm going, I find that these are the best conversations that I have because I was like, I'll probably be on here 30 minutes and I'll get off. But yeah.
I blame Gio for this one. That's what happened. Oh, she's still here. Oh, no. Yeah, of course. Great conversations, Marlene. I love Gio.
I love y'all too. Thanks for having me, Marlene.
No problem, ladies. It's been amazing. And my final thoughts to everybody, know yourself, love yourself, know who you are, know where you want to go. And also, don't forget where you have come from and who you belong to. You are not alone in this journey of your life. There is more to come for you, but we got to stand up for ourselves. We got to believe in ourselves and respect ourselves, even if other people around us don't. I'm Marlene. I'm the content creator for Marlene Motivates. And on this channel, I speak about inspiration, motivation, positivity, and mindset
Okay.
shifting. Thank you so much for coming. And shout out to these two wonderful ladies, Miss Nexie and Miss Gio.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for having me, Marlene.
Whoop, whoop.
I knew she was going to do something.
Thank you, guys. I'll see you guys on tomorrow on the next dose of positivity. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Shout out to the chat and to all my channel members. Bye, guys.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life. I forgive me. I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you? I forgive me. I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you? Ooh, oh.